What's going on, and welcome back to the Dlzonwlz podcast, brought to you by Dlzonwlz. I am your host, Carter Farthing, and today I have a very, very special episode for you. Normally we are interviewing drifters from the Pacific Northwest, but today we actually have a photographer and videographer from the East Coast. Some of you may know him from his days back as your favorite videographer from one of the most infamous channels on YouTube, and some of you may know him as just a personality on Instagram, and now music video photographer. Allow me to introduce Burky.
Thank you for having me here. This is a pretty cool place.
Yeah, thank you for making this happen. Yesterday we tried to film this outside, and it didn't turn out so well, but today I think we're going to try it again in the studio and make it a little bit of a more chill experience. I just want to thank you for stopping by. He's actually on a road trip right now. Tell me a little bit about the road trip that you just put yourself through.
I had a friend who was in a little bit of need of some help, and they were moving over to Washington. I'm from Pennsylvania. Just being having been gone to Washington already, I was just excited to be like, yeah, like whatever you need help with, I'll do it.
Okay.
And she had 2 cars. She was like, would you be interested in driving one of my cars? And I said, yeah. And I tried to maybe look for some friends that would want to come with me, because I thought I would have like a whole car to myself. And it turns out she packed the car full of plants and a couple chickens.
Chickens, as in live chickens?
Live, egg-laying.
How many chickens did you leave Pennsylvania with?
4.
How many did you get to Washington with?
There's 2 happy and healthy ones at the new house that she just moved into.
I'm happy to hear that you almost got a passing grade for your chicken babysitting experience.
Almost 50%. Hey, that's good enough for me sometimes.
Yeah, maybe they'll bump that up to D- in some places. But now you are just chilling in the Pacific Northwest. You were actually hanging out a couple miles away from where I record the podcast, and I mean, I was always a fan of yours during the Haggard Garage experience, and thus far I've been following you on Instagram. You actually followed me on Instagram for the last couple of years, and I invited you on, and here we are. Tell me a little bit about yourself, where you come from, and basically, since you're a photographer, how you got interested in photography, and what put you in the position that you're in today.
Well, I grew up in Pennsylvania, so I lived in like this town called Chambersburg pretty much my whole life, and I just got a new place like right outside of Chambersburg, so I'm still in that area is where I live. But starting like with photography, like it all started with me just getting like my mom's camera and going and taking pictures and filming all of my friends skateboarding like down at this little park that we had at the end of the street, like in our neighborhood, and it had like a couple stair sets and like some ledges and stuff that like we were like afraid to wax and stuff because we didn't want to get yelled at. So it started with just like making that kind of stuff, and I was watching YouTube as a little kid, and I was watching all these like cool videos and
mostly skate content. Or was it just basically anything?
Well, whenever I was little, I would actually type in like half pipe montages and stuff like that, and I was like, I would always want to like watch like just people like ripping mini pipes and stuff. That's always what I liked skating when I was a kid. But I would just like watch that and like Make Me Bad, if you remember him. Like, oh man, there's so many old classic YouTubers I used to watch whenever I was a kid that if I go back and I look at now, I'm like, why was I watching that? But it's like,
because it was the only stuff out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was so entertaining though. So I was like, it's like all I would watch is just YouTube. I like didn't even watch cartoons as much anymore.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, so I like to take my camera out, and like I have a computer and like I have a camera, and I'm like, if they're doing it, like how can I do it? So like as a little kid, I started to just like take like, I didn't know how to edit or anything, so I didn't even know that there was like programs that you edit on. Like, and my computer didn't have like Windows Movie Maker on it. Like I wasn't lucky enough, I guess, to have that free program.
Yeah.
And I would just like take a whole video, and like I wouldn't be able to cut it up or anything, and I would just upload. I would just upload the single file, yeah.
Yes, sir.
And like that was like my first like YouTube videos, was just like trying to set everything up like behind the camera so that whenever I hit record and then hit record again to stop, like that's the whole video. I don't have to do anything else.
Good old days.
Yeah. But that's how it really started. Just like me and my friends out skateboarding, like getting into shenanigans. We had like woods behind our house that we would like go out and like make like fake like army setups and stuff, like in, like little forts, and like film little movies and stuff.
There you go.
Yeah, but it was pretty fun.
Skating a big part of your life growing up as well? Was that your first passion, or did they just kind of coincide once you got into photography?
Yeah, skating definitely was like the first thing for me. Like I have an older brother who was like really good at skating, and he was sponsored by like one of the local skate shops and stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
And like he's 5 years older than me, so whenever I'm like a little kid like trying to learn how to like push around and stuff like that, he was like going down handrails and like doing big sets and like skating like the big half pipes and stuff. We would go to like my dad would take me and him to FDR skate park in Philadelphia, and it's this really big concrete skate park underneath of a highway that's like built by skaters.
Okay.
And there's like these gnarly like walls that go up like 15-20 feet high, and they're like straight inverted. And my brother would like go up on stuff like that and like drop in, and it was like even to this day I would just die if I did that. So I never got to that level that he was always at, but like skateboarding and like just trying to like go out skating with my brother and everything, like that's what I wanted to like do, and that's definitely like that was the first passion. That's what started it.
And then going from photography, did you ever do anything as far as photography throughout school? Did you go to school for photography, or?
So I never like went to any, like I didn't go to college or anything. Like whenever I graduated high school, I just started filming videos.
Okay.
Like as a job.
You actually have a funny story about taking the college money and kind of starting that experience.
Yeah.
What's that story?
So all my brothers, like I have two brothers, so my parents have 3 kids.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, we want to give each kid like college money for whenever they're 18. Mm-hmm. And they decided, they were like, oh, we're going to give each kid $10,000. And I'm the youngest child of 3, so
I'm also the youngest of 3 boys.
And like all my brothers are 5 years apart, so it's like my older brother's 5 years older than me, and then the oldest one's 10 years older than me.
Yeah.
So by the time they got to me, they were like broke. Yeah, they were like, we don't have 10 grand to like give all these freaking kids. Like I don't know how many kids we're gonna have. Yeah. And so they had like 5,000 saved up, and then they had 5,000, and my dad came to me whenever I was about to turn 18, and he was like, if you decide that you're gonna go to college, I'll give you $5,000 on top of the 5,000 that we have saved for you to go.
There you go.
And I was like, yeah, I'll go to college. And
I promise.
I took the 10 grand, and I was like, no, you got to give it to me in cash. I somehow convinced them to give it to me in cash.
I can't believe that.
Like I got them to give me a check, and I took the check right to the bank. And I remember I was like, yeah, I need this all in cash. And the bank was like I was like a young kid, and they were like checked my ID like 10 times. They were like, this is to you, like in your name. And they're like, oh, we got to give this to you. And they're like, how would you like it? And I was like, oh, hundreds.
And then when you're that age, you don't realize how out of the blue that is.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just like, well, I mean, I felt like I was in a movie or something. I was like, I felt like a boss. I was like,
you're like, this is what you do with the check, right?
Yeah.
You get the greenbacks. And this paper's worthless. I want the money.
And I just imagine them giving me like this briefcase, you know what I mean? Yep. But it was just like this little white envelope. Like, this is a little bank envelope, just slightly stuffed.
Can I actually get this in 5s, please?
Yeah. Like, do you have briefcases back there? But so I took the 10 grand, and me and my 2 good friends just drove to New York City, which is like 4.5 hours from where I live. There's the biggest camera store on the East Coast, and probably the best camera store like in the United States. It's called B&H.
Okay.
And it's like a 3-story mall that's a camera store.
Hell yeah.
And I go in, and I wait in a couple lines, and I get these receipts, and I literally blow 10 grand
$10,000 cash
in the camera store. And I still have like most of that gear to this day.
Do you think that was the day that Burkyfilms was born?
It had to have been, because like there was like a Burkyfilms kind of thing just from like me filming skating in high school with like VXs and like having like the old tape cameras and just always going out and filming all my friends like whenever I was younger. It just, whenever I finally like had friends that were also making videos and I had that like money and I was ready. I was like, they all convinced me. They were like, you can do it. Yeah, I went in, I got all the stuff, and I haven't looked back since. And I mean, I don't regret anything. Like this, it's been the most fun experience that I probably could have had with that amount of money. Way better than college.
I mean, it was your passion, and it's put you this far. I mean, that $10,000 probably put you in every situation that you were in thus far. I mean, up until now, shooting professional grade music videos, that was your college experience. I mean, I like to say that the couple of years that I put into working at O'Reilly's and working behind the counter and getting to know pretty much the automotive field as car college is just kind of learning the ins and outs and how to speak car and what literally the ins and outs of a car is. So, I mean, you went to your own camera college on the streets, and I mean, you can film as well and edit as well as the best of them that, I mean, went to the schools and dropped $45,000 a year on professional level studies. So, I mean, you definitely put the money to good use, I would say. But this is an automotive podcast. We talk about cars usually. You don't have a car sitting in the studio like every other person.
I wish I had a car here.
That
should have drove that van over here.
Dude, the van full of
chickens and plants.
That sounds like the worst spin-off of Plants vs. Zombies. Chickens and Plants. The Target version.
Just the eBay version.
Yeah. You order a copy of Plants vs. Zombies and Chickens vs. Plants shows up. Okay, anyways. So you don't have your car here. You drove cross-country in someone else's car. Let's talk about your origins in the car community and pretty much what your first car was, or maybe not your first car, but the first car you fell in love with and where it took you.
Yeah. So whenever I was like 15 and I was getting ready to get my like learner's permit and stuff and like think about getting like a driver's license whenever I turned 16, I was looking to my brother for all his car stuff because he had like this, I think he still has it. He's got like a 96 Honda Civic Coupe with like a 2000 front end swap and stuff like that. This is the
brother that's 5 years older. That skates? Okay.
Yeah, and he had, so he's got like a lowered Civic and it's like a coupe and it was like SI blue and
nice.
Like it had cool wheels on it and he would always take parts off and like paint them and stuff like that and put them back on. And I always thought it was like super cool because like other than that, it was like Fast and the Furious was like my car interest. Like I didn't have any like friends that were into cars whenever I was growing up really. Like my dad's not really into cars. Like my dad had like a Ford Escort station wagon that was 5-speed, but like he drove it like a grandpa and I'm pretty sure the clutch was probably slipping for like 100,000 miles and he just never changed it.
Probably just economical.
Yeah, like so I wasn't even like so nothing was really getting me into cars and my brother was starting to modify his and like I remember him getting like a turbo kit and like talking about putting it on and stuff like that and like I thought it was like the coolest thing. And whenever I got my first car, it was a 1995 Toyota Tercel.
Also little 5-speed.
Little 2-door. It was a 4-speed manual.
Oh yeah, that's
little
right.
2-door coupe, silver like full base with like the unpainted bumpers, like roll up windows, like I'm surprised it had a cassette player like in the radio.
Yeah.
And I started from there and just did like all the probably normal things that like every other kid does. Like I went to AutoZone and literally bought like the intake and everything and like God. So I like ripped off my whole intake and like put it on and like had my brother help me because I didn't know where any of the hoses and stuff would go anymore.
More power, baby.
I felt so cool. And then this is actually like kind of embarrassing. I bought one of those. Actually, I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it, but I did put it in the car. It was one of those like fan things. It's a circle that you put in the intake tube.
Oh, to make it sound like a turbo or something.
Yeah. And like I will say like at very high RPMs it did have like a whistle. But I was definitely like just impeding airflow. It was just,
for sure losing power.
Yeah, just was not. I was going slower.
And if it were to break off and go into your intake, you'd break it.
And
or you'd pin your throttle body open and then you'd crash and die.
I probably had that like in there for like 20,000 miles, like thinking it was cool, like as a 16-year-old.
That's so funny.
But after that, like I didn't really do anything cool with my first car, and I got to the point where I was like, I want to get something that like maybe somebody already started fiddling with, kind of like my brother's car.
Yeah.
And my brother had like one of his friends had a 1993 Toyota Camry V6, like fully loaded, and it was 5-speed.
Hell yeah.
So it was like kind of rare. And
what color was it?
It was gold. It was two-tone. It was gold on top and like a black bottom.
Sounds like a sick ride.
And it was pretty nice. It had some wheels on it. I can't even remember what brand of wheels they were. And then it had like some lowering springs, like some D2 lowering springs or something like that. And
So
it
was
had
touched.
it had like a nice like catback exhaust with like a dual tip muffler and stuff. And like I remember like revving it at kids and stuff, and like there was like
good old memories.
There was like a time where like this crappy car at like a gas station like tried to like rev at me because like I had like the car full of people and stuff, and like we were all like listening to music real loud, and I remember like putting it in neutral and like hitting rev limiter like for the first time like ever, and it just sounded like so cool, and I was like, oh hell yeah.
I mean, that V6 with the exhaust on it, I'm sure it didn't sound too bad.
And everybody like in the car was like, oh, and then I just like drove off and like felt all cool. But from there, like I ended up like blowing the head gasket in that Camry, like driving it fast on some road trying to impress a girl, and
that's sometimes how it goes.
Drove it for like months after that, like taking it into shops trying to get different things fixed because I wasn't like mechanically inclined, and I was just like working like little jobs and stuff. And then I finally got a job at a Toyota dealership, and this is like my first two cars were Toyotas, but like I have like a real love for just Toyotas in general since I have worked at like that Toyota dealership.
Probably the most reliable car brand you can get by far.
I have so many good words about them, but from whenever I started working there, I was looking for another car, and I was driving my mom's car to and from work, and I just wanted something that was like super reliable. And being like turning fresh 18 and like going to a salesperson and they just get like wide-eyed, they're like, this is like your first time, like
I'll sell you anything you want on the lot.
So I get really excited. They're like, they approved me for like up to 15 grand, and I'm like, yeah dude, like let's go. Like, and this is still a person who's like, I'm into cars, but I'm not like looking up forums or anything. I'm just into like cool looking cars. Like I still didn't have any friends who like had modified cars or anything like that.
You had a couple friends with some pretty cool Mustangs, right?
Yeah, so whenever I was like going to the skate park and stuff, like even whenever I got my first car, two of my older friends that would go to the park had like early 2000s like Mustangs that were V6 5-speeds.
Yeah, like my body style, or
no, like the body style right before yours.
Gotcha.
And it's like they would pull up to the park, and they were both red. They were both matching red with like the same wheels. They would both pull up to the park. They didn't even have like exhaust or anything, and I was like, that's so cool. Like it was like the coolest thing I'd like even seen, which is like at least in person, because like I never went to car shows or anything either. Like I just never really grew up doing like car stuff. Like whenever I was younger, it didn't start until I was like 18, 19, 20 that I was like actually wanting to start doing stuff and like start wrenching and like actually change things around.
Makes sense.
But
because you're a filmer. You're
I mean like
photography.
Yeah, cars has always just been like a really fun hobby for me. Like it's never been like a crazy passion that I like put all my time and effort into. It's really something that like if I'm tired of editing, or I'm like, and I don't want to play video games and I feel lazy or something, I just go out and I start working on my cars.
Yeah,
and it feels like a time, and it keeps my hands busy. Like I don't feel like I'm doing nothing.
Better
like
than video games.
Yeah, sometimes.
Unless it's a really good video game. Unless it's a drifting video game.
I have been playing a lot of Assetto Corsa on the Sim.
Do you have a Sim?
I have a Sim.
Nice. I had to sell mine when I moved into the shop, but I miss it every single day.
I just still need to get an e-brake. I never bought one of the e-brakes.
Yeah. My Mitch, who I've had on the podcast, has a full rig with like a Thrustmaster, beautiful, beautiful handbrake.
I've gotten to drive on like some crazy ones where like they have haptic feedback in the back of the seat, and I'm sitting in like a Bride Lomax, like a real one, and there's like half of a cut S13 dash in front of me.
So you're actually
and a 3-screen, yeah, and then there's a working S13 dash.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
I have that JZX 110 dash that I had sitting on my simulator, and I wanted to wire it in to make it work so bad.
I'm like, I'm like, I thought I had a lot of time on my hands. You know what I mean? And then I realized I'm not that talented.
I can't
I'm not
imagine
that
coding that shit.
Yeah, because there's the ones that I did it's like he didn't buy that. That was all like the haptic feedback things like zip tied to the back of the chair onto a piece of wood that's like screwed in, and it's like.
Have you ever done VR, Aceto?
Yeah,
that's even crazy.
I've only done it on like friends setups because I don't have like a powerful enough like graphics card. Yeah. But I have like a Oculus, one of the first ones or something like that. I don't know.
Sweet. So let's get into where your love of cars and your love of photography kind of merge. Do you remember when you first really got into what some call cartography or like film and shit like that? Or
yeah, I mean that literally started with like watching a channel called Haggard Garage. Okay. And I was like,
tell me what Haggard Garage is before you drop anything after that.
So Haggard Garage was just a YouTube channel with like a group of kids that all went to school together that lived in the same town that just had like the same interest in being complete like hoonigans basically. Yeah. And just getting into like shenanigans all the time and just doing things that were really sketchy, but like the best way for me to describe it is whenever I was watching it, it was the things I always wanted to do, but never would actually do
because there's consequences.
Yeah, exactly. It's
and
like
your mom would. Shit out of you.
It's like you can't just do that. Like you can't go buy like a Miata and then backyard turbo kit it because like what if that's like your car that you got to drive? Yeah. Like so they were doing all the things that like I would just want to go out and do, and I would just watch them like every day like after I got off work, and I finally got to the point where I was like, man, like I film videos and stuff. I need to like, and like I'm 18. This is after I got by all that stuff. I'm filming music videos at this time. I'm like,
what year is this? When did you graduate? And like, what year did you first like discover Haggard Garage?
I don't even remember when I graduated, to be honest. I graduated a year early because I dropped out in 11th grade because my mom had fallen and hurt herself, so I wanted to stay home, and I was above the age that I could do it by myself, so I just dropped out, and then my parents wanted me to still like have a high school education, so they contacted like it was like alternative high school. Yeah. So I would go to high school for like 2 hours a day. Yeah. And just do like there was no teaching. It was just like they'd give you the book, they'd give you like a test, you'd do the test.
I'm sure a lot of people would highly rather do that where you're kind of working by yourself and working on your own terms rather than being told what to do.
And like they didn't care, like they would if you had a job or something, they didn't care, like you could literally it was like such a good alternative to actually going to high school.
High school sucks.
Yeah, it like high school was a terrible experience, and I was honestly happy to be able to get out of it because like I wasn't even having fun like just being there and actually having fun. Like whenever I look back on it, I'm just like it's that none of that was really like a good experience. Like I mean, I learned a lot of things, like, but it was mainly like how to avoid bad people. Like
luckily pretty much my junior and my senior year of high school were all auto shop. And by the time lunch was like over, I could leave school because I didn't have any more classes, so it made it easy to go. But if I had to deal with the bullshit of every other class, I would have never been in there, bro.
See, my high school had like a separate school that also did like it was vocational school, so it was like you could go and do automotive or you could do like plumbing, electrical.
That's what Rednick did, isn't it? Did he go to that school? Oh no!
Jesus no. Christ. So I live in PA. Yeah.
Geez, I keep trying to think that you grew up in Connecticut, but you're
no. I didn't move to Connecticut until 2016. Okay. So I met Haggard in like 2015, and we met up in person for the first time at Sleigh Ride in 2015. Okay. And I filmed like this cool little premiere video that's still like on one of my old YouTube channels, and ever since then, like I moved in with them and just started filming like car videos and stuff. But that was like whenever I really like I had never really taken pictures of cars, or taken videos of cars. Yeah, with that and skateboarding, like I film a lot of skateboarding even to this day. Like I still film skateboarding. Like I'm still filming for like different brands and stuff to put out different content for them.
That's awesome.
And it's a lot of fun, and I like it a lot. But doing the car stuff, whenever I started doing the car stuff, that's wherever I was like, I'm way more happier. Like, I really enjoy filming skating, and it's a lot of fun, but it's kind of like whenever I had that hobby for cars, I was like, in the comparison of like what the passion versus the hobby was, as soon as I started filming cars and stuff, I was like, oh, this is much more of a passion than filming like anything else. Even it was getting really close up there with music videos, because I mean, now I like filming music videos more than filming cars, but if I had the choice, I'd probably film cars still.
Yeah.
I just don't have that choice where I live right
you have
now.
Fun doing it.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of cool builds and stuff around my area, and some of the people that do have cool builds around my area, maybe they're not cool people. So I'm like,
yeah.
So I'm like, it's hard to like actually touch bases with like people that are in the middle.
Actually, one of my sponsees that drives the S13 he lives in Scranton, I think. Is Scranton close to where you are in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I think it's like probably 2.5 hours or something like that.
You guys should link up.
Yeah, we could definitely link up.
He got a huge shop with a bunch of builds and a 1J S13, and
then that's perfect.
He's got a YouTube channel too, so I'm sure.
Well, then that's perfect.
Quan, hit up Burkyfilms. I got you.
What's up, Quan?
What's up, Quan? But so you said that you kind of jumped from you were watching Haggard Garage on YouTube after you got off or whenever you had free time, to you moving into Haggard Garage and you filming for Haggard Garage. How did that start, and what was your origin of working and being a part of that team?
It started with me watching all those videos and getting to the realization of me being like, dude, these GoPro videos suck so bad, and it's just shaky, crappy, grainy footage that they're not controlling the light, they're not doing anything, they're not trying to do anything with the microphone.
Raw footage.
They're just like cutting out where they're like sneezing and stuff like that, and I'm like, all right, sweet, like I can do something way better. So I construct like this email that was super professional for the time, and I sent a DM to each one of them on Instagram, and then I sent an email to like I found the email in like their about page on YouTube, and I just sent them all the same message, and it was just basically like, here's all the videos that I do, here's what I do, here's where I live, I would like to film videos for you, let's work together.
Very nice.
Immediate, like, it took a couple days. I didn't get any responses on Instagram or anything, and then I got an email back, and they were like, yeah, like, hit us up on like Snapchat, or here's my number or something like that. I think I got Orion's number through email, and then I start texting him and like Snapchatting him, and I'm like, yo, bro, like let's meet up. Like, I do live 8.5 hours away, so like it's gonna be like a little thing, like, but let's get something going. And he's like, yeah, bro, just come over, like let's start filming videos. And I get a little nervous because I'm like, oh man, he's like just ready, like he didn't even want to get to know me or anything.
And they were kind of popping at the time. They were putting out, content that a lot of people were watching, and
yeah, like,
how long had you been watching them before you messaged them? Had you been watching them for a pretty long
Oh
period
yeah,
of time?
I was watching them, like I was donating to like the Turbo Protege build, and like
so
having
you were a fan of
having my name in the end of the videos, and I was buying stickers. I had stickers like on my I had stickers on my Cressida, and that was way before, like I had one of the OG Haggard stickers. I think the guy who drifts my Cressida still has that Haggard Garage sticker on the back windshield.
I love seeing old stickers like
he
that.
put a oh wait, no, he doesn't drift my old Cressida. He bought a second Cressida. He kept mine as completely stock, and then he bought a second one and put a 1J in it. And every time I see it, I keep thinking it's mine. And then every time I talk about it, I have to remember that I talked to him. He lives in Georgia, so that's where that car ended up.
Nice.
And I still message him, and I'm like, can I get that back? He's like, not a chance.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Those MX chassis, they're definitely going up in price recently.
I think it's to the point now where you have to just import one.
I had an MX-81 twin turbo 1JZ that I let go for $6,300, and that was a year and a half ago, and probably worth 16 or 17 now.
If anybody has a shell they want to get rid of, let me know.
I don't know of any locally.
Across the United States, I'll pull that shit. If it can roll, I'll pull that shit home.
Any Cressidas or MX chassis on that side of the country, hit up Burky.
East Coast, yeah. East Coast would be cool. I don't care if it's rusted.
Okay, so you get the okay? You say Orion shoots
Yeah,
you
they give me the okay, and I'm just like, I get a little nervous. I'm like, oh shit, well, I don't want to go like stay with them all the time. I don't even know them. Like I watch their videos all the time. Like I know them, but I don't know them. Like I'm a sensible person.
And they're younger than you. Are they still in high school during this period?
No, they're like right out of high school. I'm like 2 years older than them. So whenever, like, I remember I turned 21 whenever I lived at the Haggard house, and I think Orion was just getting ready to turn 20. Like he was still 19.
Gotcha.
So it was like, I remember just being a little bit older than everybody there, other than Alex. I think Alex was the same age as me.
Oh, yeah, he was a little bit older, huh?
Yeah, I think he was the same age as me. Yeah, he had the pro-charged Camaro and the the cleanest Miata of them all.
Were any of them clean?
Yes, Alex's was. He paid like $5,000 for it back then.
I'm trying to remember what
it was. I mean, they're all red.
They're
you know
all
what
red.
I mean? I mean, Orion bought his girlfriend at the time one that was white with blue stripes. That was.
I remember that one.
That one was probably the crustiest one,
was that
to be
the OG
honest.
Miata? Or was that the...
No, the OG Miata would have been Orion's red one that went to Brendan, I think. I think Brendan's one is the OG Miata.
Oh, the one that he's building right now?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they like just got the turbo kit on it and everything. I've been wanting to go up and like hang out with Brendan. Like I've been wanting to go out and hang out with all the Connecticut homies, but I just got so wrapped up in life ever since I got back from just doing all that stupid tour stuff with Orion in the first place.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I came home, it's like life hit me in the face, and I was like, I had to deal with all the problems that I wasn't dealing with by just traveling the country shooting YouTube videos.
Yeah, and then I mean, you had a kid. I mean, you're a father now.
And then being like stuck in PA, of course, I was like, yeah, it's time to talk to girls again, which was a mistake. No, it wasn't a mistake. Because my son's really awesome, like, and I'm just a single dad. Like I never really had any intention like with dating his mom or anything. But we're like super cool mutually. Like she's younger than me, and she has other kids too. So she's just used to being like a cool mom already. So
it's good that you're mutual and can keep that relationship.
Oh yeah,
for him. That's definitely very big for someone growing up.
Yeah, but it's super rewarding. Like I can't wait to like throw a wrench in his hand and like not have him hold the flashlight and have him be like way cooler than I ever was.
Teach
like
him young how shit actually works.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I'm really excited for that, and I just hope I have like a super huge old shop. Like whenever I'm like older and like have one of those old, you know what I mean, just old setups.
Something that you can hand down and build stuff to actually hand down
Yeah.
to him. So let's go over who the main characters in Haggard were when you moved into the house, because you ended up moving into what people called the Haggard house for a pretty substantial amount of time.
Yeah, I lived there for all of 2016, and then at the end of 2016 we got kicked out. So I lived there for pretty much. So I got there right after they moved in. Like there were still boxes there whenever.
I think there were boxes there when they moved out too, though.
They didn't fully unpack most things.
Because I think they expected to get kicked out.
Yeah, it was honestly pretty surprising that we were there for as long as we were, because we started to get accused of running a junkyard.
Yeah.
And that's why we got kicked out.
Yeah.
And then the final straw was we had this long like swervy stone driveway, and every time it would rain there would be these whoops for like where the rain would run out. And nobody would really fix them, and it wasn't our responsibility. So we had all these lowered cars. We're freaking like just rocket ship like through them.
So just the worst case scenario, basically.
We're screwing up the stone driveway, and it's a shared driveway with somebody else.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like it goes up halfway and splits.
Shoot.
But it's like a super like remote location.
Yeah,
like
so the city's
the
not gonna take care of it.
neighbor, you need like a telescope to see the neighbor.
Yeah.
So like I think they probably tipped off where the beginning of the driveway was, and then the landlord came and saw what the actual rest of the driveway looked like, and we're like in lowered cars, like bouncing up at full throttle, like spinning tires really bad, like somebody gets out, pushes, like it got to the point where it was like bad, and we're like riding scooters up and down it, like drifting the scooters and stuff, like little mopeds.
kind of making
like
a
literally
course out of it.
dumping mopeds, just letting it slide down the hill, like, and just being like, oh dang, like
So-
not caring at all.
So you guys are just a bunch of teenagers filming reckless content on this house that you pretty much have no...
Really surprising nobody came out with like lifelong changing like crazy injuries, like missing. Like, I'm surprised nobody's missing like
Were
fingers
there any
or toes.
ambulances that ever had to come to the house?
No.
No, nothing like that?
Nobody, like we never even like partied or anything, like to
What?
the point, like
Work.
uh-huh.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about what working at Hager Garage, because you filmed, and did you edit every single video
Yeah.
for 2016 as well?
So there's definitely like a couple videos that I didn't do because I just like wasn't there, but like a majority of all of the 2016 content I have, like I made every single video, and there's probably like 10 or 20 videos that never even came out that I made just throughout the whole year of 2016.
Yeah, kind of how it goes.
Yeah.
And now none of those are really even out anymore.
So a lot of them got deleted because of like a bunch of controversy with one of the members. So apparently like some of them weren't monetizable or something like that. Or every time you'd upload one of the videos, it would just get like hate if like a certain person was in it or something.
Okay.
So I guess he started deleting all those. And it got to the point where I was like, dang, like only like my coolest videos, you know what I mean, were like on there still. And then I think probably like a year or two ago, I looked and like most of them were all gone.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, shit, it's time to start re-uploading those. And I started re-uploading like a couple.
You did have some in the archives?
Yeah, well, I have all of them. I save I have like hard drives full of.
Obviously, you made them on your computer.
Yeah, yeah. I still own the computer that I've made it all on. Like it's I've just upgraded to a whole new PC just so I could have that be like a cool piece that's like I remember it always. You know what I mean? Like it started my career, like that computer.
It started. It made a shit ton of content for Haggard.
It made a lot of YouTube videos that a lot of people watched and enjoyed. And
it's a big piece of automotive history, I would say. A lot of people in this generation, those videos got millions and millions of views, right? I mean,
even before we started steering into the viral video like thing,
Yeah.
because that's what it's turned into now. They're not really interested in doing like any cool builds or anything, which they never really were in the first place.
he put an Odyssey front end.
The Odivia.
The Odivia.
Yeah.
Was that not the worst car ever made? Did you ever see it in person?
Oh yeah, I filmed his Pro-Am.
That's right. You filmed all of that.
Yeah, I filmed all the Pro-Am drift
The first
events
time
that
I
he
ever
did.
saw it at Evergreen in person, just all the body panels in the front, the actual... It
Didn't fit.
It looked like he...
You should have seen the message that he sent JP Fiberglass after that.
Oh, was he not very happy? Was the front end sponsored by JP, or did he buy
Who
it?
he bought that?
Jesus Christ.
I mean, he bought it with sponsor money that wasn't JP, but he bought that from them.
That's insane.
And
It was the worst front end I've ever seen put on an
I can't remember where he got the headlights, but they were literally the lenses from an Odyssey.
Yeah, they're really bad. Oh, did he put LED bars behind the?
Yeah.
Oh God, it makes me kind of sick to my
He
stomach.
just put the
to even-
lenses on, yeah.
It makes me sick to my stomach to think about that car. Okay.
I have pictures of it, and I'm like, they're some of my coolest drifting pictures because it was at the end of whenever I was taking pictures for him.
The pictures are good.
Yeah,
But
like I look at the car and I'm like, oh, it's like I have really good pictures of a really ugly car.
yeah, it's like getting nudes from an ugly chick.
You're like, that's cool, but I don't think
But I'm
I'm
not gonna
drunk
post
enough.
them. Anyways, sorry for that one. But so before Orion, who was, we didn't even really get into the main members of Haggard Garage, but let's just say the main two people were Cam and Orion. Orion kind of being the leader.
Yeah, Cam being like the crazy one, like Orion just being like the leader, like kind of role of it.
Yeah, and they basically pumped out. You basically pumped out content for them, a bunch of drifting and content.
They pumped out a ton of content too, but it just wasn't like quality.
Yeah.
Like they didn't have like good quality in mind. They were just like, we're just still trying to make videos.
Yeah.
Like every time I would leave, they would just be like, okay, like beep beep, like click the GoPro on.
That makes sense.
So and then they eventually got like they did upgrade to like the G7X and stuff like that. Like Orion did start making like the effort to like go to Best Buy and like buy cameras instead of like just get like a GoPro.
Yeah.
So
once you guys get kicked out, where does Haggard kind of go from there? You guys get kicked out of the Haggard house that you were in for about a year. Content's kind of taking off. You guys are all making. I mean, was Haggard Racing Co. A thing?
No, this is before Haggard Racing Co. So this is like the big shift that we had, because whenever it was at the Haggard house, it was like all shenanigans. We could do whatever we want. Orion and Cam were really starting to lean into building drift cars. So Cam's E36, the black one, we put it all together. He was building it for like a really long time. We filmed like a debut video of it.
That's when it had the giant Haggard livery on the side of it. Is that the debut of the Haggard livery, or was that a later chassis?
That was later. We didn't do the Haggard Racing Co. liveries until Cam had that S13. And then remember the first event.
Bop. Cam spins out and Orion takes out his front end with the Genesis.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
And then that car got tube front. And I think Cam ended up selling it, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that. I think he ended up selling it.
Well, it was really bad.
Now he's got an E36 again, and I think he was talking about selling that. I think. I can't remember.
The Hell Red Coupe.
Yeah,
Coupe.
I think he said I saw like an Instagram post. He said he like pulled into like a thing and like the clutch pedal went to the floor, and he's like somebody trade something for this.
Damn. But Cam's living down in Florida now.
Oh, dude, Cam's living it up, definitely.
His girlfriend's got an OnlyFans.
Yeah, Cam's living it up down in Florida. I mean, I'm actually planning a Florida trip here soon. So Cam, I'm gonna hit you up, bro, because I'm definitely want to come visit with you. I don't even care about any videos, or I just want to hang out.
I mean, you guys were friends for a long time. So you developed friendships with all the Haggard guys.
Yeah, I mean, just from watching them like as a fan, and then getting to go and like actually meet them and like see who they are and stuff. It like I felt pretty close to them. You know what I mean? And I started to have a bunch of moments where like we were all sitting and like smoking, and like I would be showing them music, and like I'd show them TV shows and movies and stuff like that, and we would all like hang out and go get food together and like just do everything that friends would do together, and like get to the point like we would all be able to hang out and not look at our phones and stuff like that, like,
which is nice.
Yeah,
a real organic friendship, not like you were.
And most of the time we were in like mountains that didn't have any phone reception, so
that probably helped.
Yeah.
So you guys become friends. You get kicked out of the Haggard house, and then what happens?
Yeah, that's like the big switch. So all the shenanigans kind of had to stop, because it was like, okay, now we need to own a shop, and we need to rent a house somewhere still. So they got an apartment in an apartment complex in Rocky Hill, and this was a bad move. I guess it was affordable, but it was like a really shitty apartment.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
that's when you were all parked out in the...
We were parked in a parking lot. My Cressida was stuck in a parking lot.
That's right.
Orion got to the point where he was like, I don't want to tow your Cressida back home even if you pay me. And I'm like, I was so confused about it. So I ended up selling my Cressida, and some kid in Virginia paid. I was like, I want $2,000 for the Cressida, and you have to pay for the towing. And he was like, yeah. He's like, whatever. And I was so surprised that somebody like sent a tow truck and like PayPal'd me money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I just put the I put the title in the glove box and like just signed the bottom of it.
Have fun.
I was like, this is not my responsibility. But the tow truck driver did tell me to make it get on the tow truck.
Yeah.
And the brakes were stuck and it was a dead battery. And I was like,
shit.
fuck, bro. So I jumped it. And then as soon as I put it in like drive, it just died, and I'm like, I had to jump it again. You know what I mean? Like right in front of the tow truck driver. I'm like, this is so embarrassing.
So you guys get into an apartment, and that's when you guys got the big white corrugated shop.
Yep.
Behind the fabrication.
Yep. That's the shop that we had right across from Jimmy Oaks.
Oh, that's right.
I don't think Jimmy Oaks has a shop there anymore, but no. It was like a 15-20 minute drive from our apartment down the highway. We'd have to like get off 2 different highways, and then we would go to our shop. It was in like an entirely different town, but the shop was like probably where they were spending most of the money on is sending the apartment, like which makes sense.
Probably expensive. Because I mean, you guys were spending a lot of your time at the shop. I'm
Yeah.
guessing majority.
We would just wake up, and as soon as everybody would like wake up, smoke, and like get some food, and then they would be like, "All right, what are we gonna film today?" And then it would be like, we would go and like we would mess with a BMW, or we would go and start messing with the Miata, and then eventually it got to be like we started doing stuff where we were like we wanted like YouTube beef, you know what I mean? So Motion Auto.
Yeah, down in Florida.
Yeah, so we did the Turbo Grand Marquis.
Oh, that's right.
And we did some challenge or whatever to challenge him. And obviously, Motion Auto is like a legit YouTuber, so he did it right, and he had like a really cool car that actually worked. And we built a PVC tube intake, like stupid.
Dropped a brick on the accelerator.
And literally, it was just so stupid. Like literally, everybody, I was so surprised that everybody was so serious working on it the entire time. Like,
wait, wasn't it? Didn't you do the burnout in like the rental space?
Yeah,
in like a storage.
We did that. Yeah, we did. The only exciting part was the Ghost Ride burnout, but because nobody was in the car and the car was doing a burnout.
But in a storage facility space.
Yeah,
and it was
where we rented.
Yeah, like a 5-minute long burnout.
Yeah,
looked like the car was literally on
literally,
fire.
there's like one single layer of trees where we did that at, and then on the other side of the trees is a highway.
Jesus Christ.
So
blinding the people driving.
And we would do that like all the time. Like,
did you guys ever get in trouble by any of those like rental spaces or get evicted from?
I remember Orion getting talked to a lot.
Yeah.
There was never any like. Damn. I mean, we never got kicked out. You know what I mean? Like,
and you guys were obviously profiting off of those spaces too, so I'm sure that they could. Get you for that.
Definitely illegally running businesses out of rented spaces.
And then there was a shop fire. Didn't one of the shops mysteriously catch on fire?
Well, I don't think it was mysteriously. It was like a guy who had like a bunch of very flammable shit like going on in his. But I think it was like an electrical fire.
Huh. Was that one of Haggard's bays that actually?
No. So we weren't the last bay. We were like the second bay in from the last bay, and then across from us, Jimmy Oaks had the corner bay.
That's right.
So if you think of like where you're standing at ours and looking across to Jimmy's,
and then Drew's was right next to that one. Too, right.
Way far down on the left, that's where like it caught on fire. So it didn't like spread to like as far as like Drew and Jimmy's, but it was like on that block.
I thought that was some mysterious Haggard cover-up.
I thought it was too whenever I first saw it, because I was visiting back in PA whenever it happened.
Oh, yeah, you were.
And I was like, they conspired to do some crazy shit while I was gone.
Yeah.
And then we got the second unit at that same place that we put the big trailer in.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So, well, the first.
That's where all the
first big trailer, the one that
right?
Wait, what?
Didn't a bunch of cars get vandalized in that shop, or was that when they were all parked?
I don't think anything got vandalized when we were in Rocky Hill shop.
I thought someone spray painted all like the dualies license plates, and like I think something got keyed. I don't remember. I might be making stuff
I don't think that happened in Rocky Hill.
Okay.
If it did, I must have been really high or something. I don't remember that. Okay,
so you how long did you spend how long before your departure from Haggard Garage?
I was up until like Orion decided that he didn't want to do the Pro 2 stuff.
Oh, okay.
Like, it got to the point where I was like, it was kind of confusing while I was still there, why he still wanted me to tag along.
And this was when he was in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah,
right?
This is when he's here. It started to, because I would ask, we had an agreement on videos to make and stuff, but then he stopped doing like the drift events, so I couldn't do like these like high quality drift videos that he wanted to send to sponsors.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, well, like, what do you want me to do? Because we agreed on like this price, and like I'm supposed to,
kind of had a verbal contract.
Yeah, and I'm supposed to do this amount of work for this amount of money, and and he's just like, just do whatever you feel like doing.
Okay, boss.
Yeah, I'm like, well, what do you mean, like?
And were you?
And this is whenever we started doing all those viral videos.
Yeah.
So we're just like, okay, WD-40 engine oil, baby oil engine oil, like
water in the tire.
Duct tape tire, water in the tire.
And these were the videos that got 2.5, 3 million views a pop, and then especially on Facebook, where they were getting like 10 million
they were
views.
getting ripped onto Facebook and getting like tens of millions of views.
Oh, so you guys weren't profiting off the Facebook
No.
views? Oh, I thought he was on Facebook,
Dude,
too.
he started getting on Facebook because he saw all of our videos on Facebook and saw them so popular. Yeah. He was like, I have to have the the Life OD on there.
And that was probably making 10 times more money than YouTube monetization.
I still don't think Life OD is a good name.
I mean, obviously it's his initials, but when it came out, no one understood what Life OD was. And then what was the other one?
There's another one?
Wasn't there Life OD and oh no, Damien just took over.
The Haggard Gaming channel.
Oh,
I think that's what it originally was.
And then there was the Haggard Racing channel.
Here's the reason that they have all these channels like that they do it. It's because they're tied to the AdSense, so they don't want to restart. You know what I mean?
Oh,
that's why they keep changing the brand like on the channels.
You can't start a new channel and then immediately or monetize content. So
not
change
anymore.
The channel name.
Not anymore. Yeah, back in the day, you used to be able to.
So if you
that's actually how I got my channel monetized.
Oh.
Was as soon as I moved in there, I had like 5,000 subscribers whenever I moved into Haggard, just from like filming skate videos on YouTube and music videos. And whenever I moved into Haggard, I was like, yo, like I want to do YouTube videos whenever I can, other than your guys's. How can I make my thing be like I get some pennies? You know what I mean? He was like, oh, so we go through this company full screen, and here's my agent's like email. He's like, just email him, tell him who you are, tell him like what you do, and tell him everything. I send this agent an email. 2 days later, I get an email back. They give me an application. I fill out this application, and then all of a sudden, I start getting checks in the mail from my YouTube videos.
Nice.
And all I had to do was just sign a couple things. I was like, holy, this is so easy. Like, there was they didn't even care about how many views I'm getting. They didn't care about nothing. They were just like, oh, you're a creator that's linked to this big channel that we are also supporting. Yeah. Now you're under that. So
was it big checks, or were you getting, I'm sure, pennies on the dollar compared to whatever was coming in?
It eventually got to the point where I was making like $2,500 a month.
Well, that's something sustainable.
That felt really good. I was buying, like, every time I would get like a check, I would buy like a new piece of camera gear. So because I was still filming music videos on the side as well. Like, I've always been filming music videos like on the side.
Were you ever supplied with equipment, or everything that you ever used was provided by yourself?
It's always been like provided by myself, or I'm like, hey, I'll shoot you a video for this piece of equipment. Yeah. So sometimes I'd trade like the services for a piece of gear.
That's always nice.
Yeah.
So when in your eyes would you say Haggard really, the whole team as it was, like the original family, when do you think that it kind of started to deteriorate from your point of view?
So that would be like the end of the Rocky Hill house, because when the Rocky Hill lease was up,
which was the apartment building you guys were sleeping or staying at.
Yeah, when the Rocky Hill lease was up, Orion was like, I'm moving to Florida.
Oh, that's right.
Come with if you want.
Because he was gonna.
And then and this is everybody like being like, okay, well, this is how I make my money. I make it through Orion, right? Now he's like, I'm going to Florida, and he doesn't tell anybody about money. He doesn't tell anybody about paying them. He doesn't tell anybody about anything. He's just like, if you come, you can stay. You can leave your whole family behind,
or you can stay and have nothing.
And
wow. Because there's nothing really tying you or Dylan or Brendan or anyone else really to Haggard at that point.
It was, and that's where the whole like family thing started to dissolve. Because
if he was more like Dominic Toretto and he had family values, things would be different. But
he was even slightly a good person.
So he obviously up and moves to California. Who goes down to, or not California, to Florida?
Yeah.
Who goes down with him? Just Dame, or not even Damien goes. Just Chow, right? And Quanbeck. He moves down to Quanbeck.
Caleb Quanbeck moves in to that house.
Yeah.
And then this is before I went down to Florida. And I still don't know this full story. And somebody feel free to not clue me in because I don't care about this anymore. But there was this kid that Orion, I don't know if he was living there, but he was hanging around Orion a lot, and he had got on Orion's good side, and Orion and him invested into this storefront business.
Down in Florida?
Yes. Do you remember the Genesis giveaway starter pack video?
I do.
We're drifting in a parking lot. That's the parking lot of the building he owned.
I always wondered who owned that building.
Okay, so I can't remember what they were going to do for it. It was like going to be an eBay hoonigan down in Florida.
A little donut shop or something.
And I think that was their goal. And then it turned out that the partner that Orion had went in with was crazy. And this is where I say I don't want to be clued in because I don't care.
Yeah.
But him and Orion split ways, and then Orion stuck with the bill.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then because Orion stuck with this big bill of this building, he's stopped paying on the house he was living at.
Oh, really?
The Florida house. So
the one that he was literally mining Bitcoin out of.
Yep. It wasn't a lot. It was like he had like 3 graphics cards, I think.
Yeah.
And then his like, what was that one? The live plant garden
the
thing?
hydroponic garden.
The hydroponic garden that like just grew mold. That's what he successfully grew in that thing.
I don't know why.
It was so hot. And it was next
watched
to the sliding glass window.
Every single video of him watching that building that hydroponic garden, just laughing at him because I mean he was mining Bitcoin and making meme ass videos in the garage with Chow, which Chow lived in that garage.
Chow did live in the garage, and they did not seal the door.
No,
Bugs
I mean,
and shit.
It was an active garage.
Yeah, it was a floor, a concrete floor like this garage.
Yeah, God bless Chow.
Chow went through the thicket of it.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, we don't need to talk about him this entire episode. But he moves down to Florida and just pretty much abandons the family.
Yeah, well, he makes it basically everyone else's call whether they want to. And here's the thing, I know Orion's side of it because I was friends with him and I talked to him. Orion wanted everyone to kind of grow up. He wanted everyone to have their own YouTube channel that they were making their own sustainable income from. But the problem was we were all working for Orion. And that's just not how it fucking works.
And you can't.
He wanted us to still do everything with him, be in his videos, do all this stuff, spend the time and energy, but then have our own stuff that we do to support ourselves. And it's like it's kind of okay. Like I knew where he was coming from, and that's why he helped with trying to get me to have my thing. I'm sure he thought that I was going to make more YouTube videos for myself and maybe that's how I was going to make money, but like in reality I was spending, like we would go film at the shop for a day, right? And I'd go home and he's like, I want to upload tonight. And I edit like in Premiere Pro, like I'm editing music videos and stuff. So I'm adjusting audio and I'm like clipping
mixing
stuff
and mastering
and I'm doing like transitions and I'm like doing really good.
Because it's not just raw GoPro clips that they were uploading for a couple thousand people to see. At this point, this is a lot of views.
And this is also got to the point like through 2016, with me being behind the camera, they didn't really know how to act. So I had to start like directing them.
Yeah.
I was like, no. I was like, talk about what we're about to do. Give a brief explanation. They would do it like 3-4 times, fuck it all up.
Because it truly was in the beginning just record whatever was happening in a 15-minute duration.
And they started to want to make like a show, and like that's why they wanted.
And they got the uniforms.
Exactly. Like I still have my stupid Dickies fucking film crew Burky like shirt.
That was the point where if it was handled correctly, it could have
taken off so crazy.
Haggard Racing Co. could probably.
And that's where Strange Planet was helping us a lot, and they were giving us a lot of like marketing kind of advice, and
it could have gone to Netflix.
They were most of our marketing kind of like just through the clothing and through the website and everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe it was probably never meant to be, but because it was just everybody involved was just like so irresponsible. Maybe not Strange Planet. I don't have anything bad to say about Strange Planet, but like everybody was just so irresponsible that even if we had the big responsibility of like having like a big an even bigger following or a bigger channel or a bigger like anything, it just wouldn't have turned out good. I mean, no matter what.
That's probably why it was so successful, because it was pretty much. I mean, it was authentic.
It was like watching a train wreck probably for years.
Yeah,
you're just like when is this just really gonna derail and just mess up everything?
And it derailed before the camera turned on. I mean, it was bad. There was maybe 1 or 2 quality builds throughout the duration of the 4 years or 4 years that channel was active, and I can't even name what the good builds were. I mean,
I want to say the Little Miata that could was a good build, but literally we couldn't start it and run it, or else it would blow up.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: they like to physically build things, but they didn't like to do the "I'm gonna make this run right" part.
Yeah.
So it was really like no tunes.
It was a lot.
No doing standalones. The only standalones we would think about getting was a Mega Squirt with the wiring harness to plug in from like a Miata.
Mm-hmm. And then they probably wouldn't even crack into it.
We just plug it in with like a base map on it, and like we're like, all right, run it, and then it blows up, and we're like, well, shit.
Oh, everything's gonna blow up.
And then we're doing engine swaps with we're doing the engine swaps in Airbnb parking lots.
Okay, let's go to the tour. Would you say the Haggard tour, it was probably like the last step for you?
That was like the last of like the family thing, because like it was like Florida, and then we were like, all right, well, we're gonna go on like a tour. Or actually, no, the Little Miata that could was, where did we leave from on that? I guess Connecticut.
Yeah, because the first stop you made was seeing Steven at Garage Sideways.
Yeah, we left from Connecticut. I remember. Oh my gosh, yeah. We broke down in Maryland, and I remember being like, so Connecticut's 8.5 hours from my house. Yeah. Steven's house is 45 minutes from my house. So we break down like right next to my house, and we're on a tour.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I could just call one of my friends to come get me, and I could go home right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is kind of stupid. But that was with the green dually.
That's with the dually with the O'Reilly's bucket seats drilled into the bed, right?
Oh no, I had an S13 passenger seat.
That's right.
Yeah, I had an S13 passenger seat drilled to the floor. My back still to this day. I think I have a lower back problem because
probably did 5,000 miles in the
bed of a truck
with a canopy and an S13 seat.
And then we had a bench seat from like a Ford van that Damien and Don sat on, but it got to the point where Damien and Don are big boys, man.
500 pounds dude.
So Dom sat on the chair, and Damien sets up like I think he got like a beanbag at Walmart or something like that. Damien always had like the comfiest, cushiest fucking setup. Always jealous of how Damien thinks of just like putting something together quick. He's very smart, but it was a super fun trip. It was super fun.
So, dude, I don't mean to get personal at all, but don't they both come from money? Don't they both?
I don't know about Damien, but I know Don, like his parents own like a liquor store or something that he works at.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's considered money, to be honest, or maybe they own like a shit ton of stores, and I don't really know.
Yeah.
I didn't really get to know Damien Don too personally.
Yeah.
Like we would always, anytime I would go over, they would just be like hanging out at the Rocky Hill house sometimes, and like they were the hookah guys.
Yeah.
So like I'd show up and they'd be like, we're packing big old hookahs, and it'd just be a really fun time of just like smoking hookah. I never really got to hang out with them personally like I did with the rest of the guys. I mean, I'd say we're friends still, but we just never like got really close like that.
Yeah. But I mean, you spent the tour in the bed of the dually. Mm-hmm. Kind of walk me through the stages of the tour. Obviously, you broke down right outside of.
It was like we just wanted to do a bunch of meetups, as many meetups as possible to show the car off, to get so much attention.
Because you guys were giving away the little Miata that you built on the channel over, a series of months.
Yeah,
a couple videos. Because you turboed it, painted it, put a little wrap job on it, and then it was a full-on drift car, and then you brought it to Garage Sideways, and the first time it ever really drove.
Yeah.
He takes it out and
he takes it out, literally drifts it at his local drift spots. He's like, this thing's fucking sick, and in the meanwhile, it's like the radiator's like probably no coolant in it, just freaking hissing super bad.
Was he
like
the first person to ever drive the car?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Because we just drove it into a trailer.
Yeah.
And we were like we need somebody to frickin'. And I don't think we ever really intended for it to be like, will you absolutely shred the fuck out of this? Like, he just did it. And it was like, it was cool. Everybody was like, that was super cool.
He
like,
shredded
it
it.
looked really cool doing it.
Yeah.
But then, like, when we put it back, it was like, it never ran. After that, it never ran again.
It got super hot.
Like, if you turned it on, it was probably on, like, one cylinder for, like, a couple seconds. And then it was, like, it was terrible to try.
Because it was untuned with it was a 1.8, right?
Because it got embarrassing. Because that was, like, the first stop we did. And then from there, we went to, like, Cincinnati and like Chicago and like all these
with the blown up car.
Yeah.
Oh, this was before you even swapped the motors.
Yeah, so we're like, it's a piece of crap, you know what I mean? And this is a giveaway car.
Oh, I forgot. Okay, so you guys are presenting a blown up giveaway car.
Yeah.
Was it announced in the first video? Because the first video that obviously I'm guessing you filmed and put out was the video of him drifting it. Was it announced that he blew up the car on that video, or was it kind of hidden away from the audience that the car?
I honestly can't even remember. It was hidden from the audience that it wasn't a good car. Yeah, and to begin with,
we kind of got that by the paint job instantly being covered up with the worst livery ever in the history of giveaway cars. Because I'm guessing it was the most orange peeled paint job and runniest paint job of any car. Right?
Yeah.
I'm sure it was a 10-footer.
Yeah. I remember we painted it, and it was like immediately on the road. Damien was like, "We gotta wet sand it and buff it." Like on the road, we did it at a truck stop.
Oh my god!
I have stance footage of us doing it at a truck stop before a meet. Like it looked so bad and orange peeled, like it was not glossy at all. We literally stopped at like an AutoZone, got like some sandpaper and some buff stuff.
So you had a untested, untuned, blown up, shitty painted
giveaway car
that you were taking on tour across the United States.
Getting hyped for it, getting everybody ready to want it.
So what are these meets like when you show up to these cities? Because I came to the Haggard tour. I was at the Seattle stop. I remember it getting pretty hectic.
So basically we would we would look for the parking lot. We would go on Google Maps and look in cities and look for the biggest stores because we knew we would fill the parking lot. Like think of like a Lowe's or like I don't know what you guys have out here that's like super big parking lot stores. Yeah, that's all the East Coast ones are just always big. So think of like a Lowe's parking lot. We're gonna fill the Lowe's parking lot up, and if there's a Walmart right next to it, half of the Walmart parking lot closest to the Lowe's is like bleeding in.
Yeah.
And as soon as like everybody's waiting around, it seems pretty calm. Like the one Cincinnati stop we stopped at, the whole parking lot was so full when we got there. The cops were already there. We drove in through like a fucking parade.
Oh my god.
We drove in, so many people surrounded the truck that we had to stop. We put the lid down. We pulled the car out,
like
sat the car there.
People.
Yeah, and then we just pushed the car back in and just drove away. That was like the whole Cincinnati stop, I think.
Oh, you didn't even really get out and...
Well, we all got out, but like somebody probably stayed in the truck the whole time. Like it was literally like so crazy and hectic.
And, I think I saw footage from that. There were thousands and thousands of people there.
Like, dude, there's like kids riding like the Sprinter go-karts, like that are the shifter ones that go like really fast.
Yeah.
They're going like 40 through Walmart parking lots and shit, like that are stuffed, crowded full of people.
And this was early 2017?
Early 2017. People, huge trucks, like huge flags, everybody's standing up on the bed, everybody's standing in the truck, and it would be like relatively calm whenever we would look at it, and then we'd pull in and everybody would see us. Immediate burnouts. Immediately, people are like running to their car, turning it on.
All they want to do is get on the video,
and they're just like, wham, bam, 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 bam. Just they're in New York City. It's on my channel. There's a New York City meet.
Yeah.
There was a Honda Accord. He made the video, but I filmed him for at least like 2-3 solid minutes of redlining an Accord wagon. No. And it's just, straight pipe. Like green like that too.
That's
like
my baby.
Literally. But the most piece of shit one, I'll have to show you. It was so funny. And like everybody walking up was just like, Like, just like everybody was enjoying it, having a good time though. That was the best part about it, was just like everybody was having a good time. Hopefully nobody ever really got hurt. I don't even think anybody really ever got hurt. I know a couple of people blew up cars and stuff like that. Like,
yeah, because the car show would eventually turn into meets on the outside that kind of turned into takeover-esque style.
It would be like if one part of the parking lot is now empty, it's like somebody go do some donuts over there. Yeah. People are just doing burnouts in their parking spot and then just backing up and going home. Like,
so you guys obviously have a blown up Miata at this point. At what stop do you contact in? Was it Seattle?
We were all the way on the West Coast, and we got what's the JDM Miata? It's like a weird
Roadster.
The Unos, yeah, we got a Unos 1.8, which is just the same thing.
But it has a different wiring harness, so it does. Don't you have to do a couple different things to actually do the swap?
I didn't do the swap. I was filming everything,
yeah.
And at this point, we were at that Airbnb, and this was.
Walk me through the Airbnb engine swap.
Oh man! So we pull up to the Airbnb, and it's not big enough to fit a huge truck and a huge trailer.
Okay.
So we parked the truck up the street. We unhitched the trailer right in blocking the whole driveway, blocking the house, blocking everything.
On the street?
On the street, yeah, but blocking where we're staying. Uh-huh. And then we unhitch, and then we pull the truck up and we park the truck away. We get the car out, we put the car in the driveway, and put one of those little tent things over it.
Little canopy thing.
Yeah, we put a little canopy over it, and then they pull the engine out, and they start.
Was the engine in the truck or was the engine in the trailer?
The engine was in the trailer.
Okay.
So the trailer it was a 2-car enclosed trailer that Caleb Quambeck owns now, and I think it was like an 18 or a 21 foot or something like that, and Orion had these camping like bunks that he put too high. Yeah, the cots too high, screwed them into the floor, so everybody had bunk beds. Here's what sucked about these bunk beds.
Everything.
This is the entrance to get into it, right? So you'd sit your butt down in and then fold like a freaking taco to get into these things. And he had it set up where they were both along the wall, and then there's a walkway, and then there's 2 going across wall to wall that are stacked up high, and then the Miata is right behind it. I slept on the bottom at the very back, and to my left was the Miata. Mm-hmm. So every time we would go to a show and actually try and run the car and pull it back in, it would smell so fucking bad right where I was sleeping.
And burnt garbage.
Yeah, and I was just like, that tour was not like fun in the sense of like every time you had to go to sleep it wasn't fun.
Yeah, the whole airflow thing in the trailer probably wasn't very good. I mean,
no, we had the air vents just open, and then it was really funny. It would get so fucking cold at night. We had a heater, like a big space heater that like literally would have caught us on fire.
Oh, like a kerosene heater?
Oh yeah, and it got like too hot. Like it was like a propane one that we hooked up to
with a car full of gas sitting right next to you.
Yeah, and Damien would get out the hookah setup.
Oh Jesus
Christ! And we'd start
shit.
And we'd
with
start
active coal.
Well, he's not sparking anything. It's like a hot plate that he puts the coal on until the coal ignites. Like,
it's sketchy as fuck.
Yeah, I know, it was so sketchy.
19 local drifters blow up in a.
It was pretty funny though, because we would have experiences where we're at like a Love's truck stop or something, and we're parked with all the semi trucks backed in. And we open the trailer door, and it's like, like clouds come out because we're just all in there hitting the hookah before we go into the Loves.
Okay, so you show up at the Airbnb, you block off the driveway, and you got a imported low mileage Miata motor.
It was really clean. It was like I guess all like engines you get from like an engine depot, they really scrub the outside of it because they want you to think it's like really nice. But it was really clean.
Was that a sponsored engine? Did they give that to you, or did you guys buy that?
I'm pretty sure we bought it, and they just started going to town on the swap. More skids showed up, and that was like our first time getting to meet them. So they come over, and then they had a car show that day that we were doing the engine swap. Yeah. So DJ and
down at Griot's, the car detailing place, or was it at their Was it in the gravel parking lot? Do you remember where the car show was?
The car show was in, I think it was like a Dollar General parking lot or something like that. But they said that we were going to be there with them.
Yeah.
So it was like a crazy like. I remember I went with DJ and I rode in his IS300 right whenever he got it, and I was in the passenger seat and we're pulling in. Don's in the back.
I pulled up next to you in some car and I was like, Burky, Don, at a red light, literally before you guys were pulling into the More Skids meet. Oh shit, I remember that. We literally pulled in at the exact same time.
That's so funny. Yeah.
In the IS300. Now I was pulling up to the meet and fucking DJ and Burky are sitting next to me and I'm like, what the hell's going on? I'm trying to remember I think I was in my black S13. I think I was in that black S13.
Yeah, because Alex Lindsay showed up in a Ford like Astro van or whatever, and did a fat burnout.
Yep, in the ambulance was that the meet that there was an ambulance burnout?
I think there was an ambulance burnout there.
I think there was an ambulance burnout.
That was the meet where like everybody went and stood on the sidewalk of like the business, and everybody just was like a parade train of burnouts. They would just stop right in front of all the people, do a burnout, and drive away.
Yeah, and meantime, they're still swapping a motor in the driveway of an Airbnb.
Well, no, we all left that.
Oh,
yeah,
so
because it started to get dark, so we were like, all right, let's go to this meet.
Yeah,
and we just rode with them though. So like Orion takes the truck and I ride with DJ, and we go down to the thing, and I'm like, all right, sweet, like, freaking, it was a fun meet, but like, it got a little wild, and then the cops came, and then I was like, and then DJ like dipped, and I was like, okay, well, who am I? Like, I didn't, and I was like, how do I get up? But so I ran over to the truck, we got in the truck, and we all dipped, but yeah, it was still fun.
Yeah, it was a good time. I mean, the engine was successfully swapped.
Yeah, the engine went in there, it ran, the car ran. That's the thing, like, I remember just, like, I was so excited to be in Washington and have, like, legal weed. Like, so I was, like, just buying weed and smoking, and, like, that's what everybody was doing. But they got the swap done basically without me even, like, really looking or helping. There was a lot of times where I would just put down the camera after filming the main part and just start working on the car with them. But for the trips, I was like, I don't want to get all dirty and stuff and then have to touch on my camera gear. And, like, I can't really clean it all because, like, we're just on the road.
There were a couple parties in that Airbnb, weren't there? I remember, or there weren't a couple parties.
There was a night. There was a night that we had.
The More Skids boys came over.
And some girls. Some girls stayed over, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm friends with Quentin on Snapchat, and I saw some people laying in some bushes. So you guys get out, the swap's done, and then you guys head down to Park for a private
yeah, we got invited to Park by Chelsea Denofa and Caleb, I think Caleb, to go and see like this private drift day, and we weren't planning on driving the car or anything. We just were going down because we had the opportunity, and they had like those drift rental car or whatever, like the school cars. Yeah, the school cars. So they were like, yeah, you guys can drive the school cars or whatever. So Cam gets to go out, and like I got to ride along with Cam.
That's his chassis too. He's
exactly. So he was like so hyped to be able to go out and like drift the track in a car that wasn't even his, but it was full ready to go. Like he didn't have to bring his whole car here. So we go and we do all that, and it, by like a obvious stroke of somehow my crappy luck, I get hit by a car in the pits while we're at that event, and just saying that makes it sound way worse. I was putting a helmet on, and I put my glasses on, and I turned around, and as I turned around, the car was like, there was a car right behind me that I was supposed to get into in the passenger seat, and he drove off, I guess, because I turned around to grab a helmet from somebody, because you had to wear helmets, even though it was a private day, they still made you wear the helmets. Yeah. And I turned around, and I put the helmet on as I'm looking at, like, Damien and Don and, like, Cam, and I go to turn around, and the car that I was supposed to get into started rolling, and then the car that was behind him started rolling up. They're, like, in neutral, probably not going anything. Yeah. Like, silent. I didn't even hear them moving. So, like, my vision's, like, blocked off like this, and I think there's a parked car right behind that I'm going to literally grab the door handle as I turn around. Mm-hmm. And I turn around, and there's a car rolling, and I put my foot right under the front wheel, and it just bounces up off my foot. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, shit. Like,
I just got run over.
I just got fucking run over by a car, even though it's not that bad. And I just was like, the dude got out of the car and was like, I can't believe that just happened. And I was like, I can't either. I just took the helmet off. I was like, I can't either. And I just walked over to the truck, and I was just like, man, it feels numb, but I don't know what like really just happened. And it ended up, I never went to the doctor or anything, so this is self-diagnosed. But I ended up like, I had to have fractured something in my foot because I couldn't walk on it like healthily for like months. It was so swollen like underneath the bottom of my foot, like I couldn't even put any weight down on it.
Yeah.
Like after I went home from that trip, I flew home after we went down. So from Park, I got hit, and then we went down to the Hoonigan shop, which I don't know how far that is. I'm pretty sure it's like
3 or 4 hours
from Portland to LA.
Oh no, I guess LA's Southern California, so like 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah, so I had to sit in the truck through like traffic and everything, going all the way to the Hoonigan thing with like my foot up, with like every time we'd stop at a rest stop, I'd like hobble in and get like a cup of ice and like fucking ice my foot.
Medic.
Yeah, ice my foot as much as I could. I was just like constantly smoking. I just didn't stop smoking like the whole time we were moving. And when we were in LA, luckily enough for me, my dad lives in Los Angeles, and I call him and I tell him what happened, and he's like, all right, like I'll come get you. I'll buy you a plane ticket home, like no problem.
That's nice.
Yeah,
but this was after you got to experience your day at Hoonigan.
Yeah, this is after we went and hung out at Hoonigan, and we were supposed to have like a daily transmission episode with the giveaway car, but it just turned out that it wasn't gonna be a good day. But that was like the only day we were there, so we went to the Pop Shop. I don't know if you know where that is. And that's like a really cool shop that builds a bunch of cool like S13s and stuff like that. We were hanging out there, and then I got picked up from there and flew home. And then they continued their trip down through the southern United States and all the way back to Florida and back up to Connecticut. Yeah, and then after that they got that RV.
Oh yeah.
That was to deliver the car.
Oh, that's
right.
Right.
So weird story about that giveaway car. Actually, the person who originally won the car, I can't even remember his name. I think it started with like a J or something. We're at a truck stop in the middle of like Washington somewhere, and this is before we're like at our destination. We're at a truck stop, sleeping at a truck stop with the semis, right? So it's nighttime. We're all in the trailer. Somebody knocks on the door, on the trailer door.
Yeah.
And we're like, we're getting kicked out of the trailer, or we're getting kicked out of the Loves before it's, because normally we would sleep in the semi-truck trailer parking, and then like a police officer would come in the morning and tell us to leave because we're not a semi-truck.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh, we got caught way too early. Like, we got to go to a different Loves or something, or a different Pilot.
Yeah.
And we open the door, and it's two guys. Just normal guys.
Like fans?
Well, they were like, hey, we don't want to be weird, but like, we saw you on the highway and we saw you pull in here, and like, we watched all your videos. And I was like, we were just like standing there like, whoa, all right, cool.
No.
And he's like, he just starts he's like, and I'm telling you, it's like 2 a.m, right?
Yeah.
And we're all dead tired. The guy's like, yeah, if you guys wouldn't mind hanging out here for a second, can I go get my wife and my kid? And we were like, oh no, man, like I don't think so. Like, we're literally trying to go to sleep, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
and we're just a bunch of fucking dudes.
Yeah, we're just like literally a bunch of kids right now. And like, do you want like a picture or something? And he's like, oh, like, do you have any hats or something? I think I gave him like a mint hat or something, like literally that was mine. And I was like, yeah, bro, like here you go, like you're all set.
Yeah.
And he was like, thanks guys, like it was so cool meeting you. That guy won the Miata.
No fucking way.
That guy won the fucking Miata.
Rigged.
It was. It was. I bet you he probably entered like 1 billion times or something. Like, I don't know how. It was honestly one of the weirdest experiences, because I didn't put 2 and 2 together whenever he won it. Because Orion calls me and he's like, dude, we have to go back to Washington. And I was like, why? He's like, the guy that we saw,
the opposite end of the country.
he won it. And I was like, holy shit. I guess it's not that weird, because like realistically, like, we're only giving it away to our fans.
Yeah.
So,
but the odds that you would have met that fan and that
at such a weird time,
he was
too.
A stalker as well.
Well, he wasn't even. I wouldn't even say he was a stalker. He came off really weird whenever we first met him.
Yeah.
But he was. I mean, he was cool. I mean, he got the car. I don't think he ended up ever finishing it, and that's what sucks because we gave away this unfinished car. I think it ended up just sitting because
sure it did.
He probably wasn't capable to finish it or didn't have the money to finish it because it was like you
was
probably
there
got
a
a
cash prize on top of that one as well? Or
I don't think so.
Was that one just the car?
I don't think so. I think it was just the car.
Because the Ultimate Drift Starter Pack, which was the giveaway afterwards, was...
Oh, man. I talked to him so much about how we could rig that for me to win.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I talked to him a lot because the car got sold, the trailer got sold, and the van is used as a work van.
Wait, so tell me about that.
Some guy won the van, and it was the 7.3, the trailer, and the Genesis.
And some cash, right?
Yeah.
So
the guy started like a business and uses the van as it's got ladders and shit on it again.
Okay.
It's a work van again now.
But he didn't want the trailer in the car, or
I mean, I'm pretty sure he sold the trailer in the car to like somebody who just messaged him about it.
So he did end up getting everything.
Yeah. Oh, he won the Drift Starter Pack.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they gave it all away as one big pack.
Yeah.
And he won it. He didn't. He was like, I'm not even really interested. It's literally a work van now, like the 7.3 Mint van.
Yeah.
It's like a plumbing van now.
Where's the
it's
winner?
In Florida.
It is in Florida.
A guy literally in Florida won it.
That's so funny. But yeah, were you a part of Haggard during that whole thing, or did you stray away from Haggard after?
So as soon as he's like, let's go to Florida, I was like, well, I'm not gonna move because I was never as solid as the rest of them. Mm-hmm. I was just there to film the videos, right? So I was like, well, I'm not gonna move to Florida. So
was the move to Florida funded by the Drift Starter Pack giveaway, or was?
Oh no, that was after.
That was after.
Yeah, the Drift Starter Pack giveaway was like to fund him getting out of debt to get out of that house that he was in.
Oh, due to his business partner and all that.
Yeah, so right before we left for the Washington tour for him to do the Pro-Am series, he had to pay his landlord like $20,000, and then he was still trying to get out of that other building, like a building.
Storefront, yeah.
But he had to pay his landlord, like, I remember he was like, it was tens of thousands of dollars to make it so that he wouldn't get like sued or something.
Huh. Yeah, it's just something in the contract.
Yeah, something like through I can't remember the logistics or whatever. But right before we left, Orion had to call people and be like, I need money because I just gave fucking my landlord like $20,000 or whatever to have him leave me alone basically on this.
Yeah.
So
and Caleb ends up with the Florida house, and you all...
No, Taylor Ray bought the Florida house.
Yeah, but does Orion leave and Caleb stay, or does everyone leave that house at once?
I think Caleb and his... I guess they're not together anymore. I guess Caleb and his baby mama left.
Oh, they're not together anymore?
I mean, unless they're in an open relationship, I see her posting...
Okay, we won't talk about that.
I see her posting people that aren't him anymore.
I love you, Caleb, and all the content you put on Instagram.
Caleb, you taught me how to be like a good business person, to be honest. And if I could have a Zoom call with you at some point to like catch up and talk business with you.
He's an excellent businessman.
Dude, he showed Orion like his value.
Yeah.
And Orion still didn't. Orion could have been way more if he would have just did everything that Caleb said.
Quan pretty much started the giveaway thing. He did the first 1JZ coupe giveaway that, I mean, eventually got given away again, and then one more time.
Yeah, and then I filmed the giveaway video for it.
For who?
In the Florida house.
Oh,
for Caleb.
For Caleb, that's right.
Because it was like the second or third time we got it back to give it away or something.
Yeah.
And
then LZ gave it away.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, did he?
I don't know who has it. I
can't remember if LZ gave it away or if he
after
still
that
has
car. After I filmed that video, I don't know.
LZ ended up with it.
Yeah. I remember being like, "How can I enter to win this?" He was like, "Just don't."
Yeah.
Because I remember he was like he was since he was like the first person to do it. He did it through like a Shopify or something.
Yeah.
And he was selling stickers, and then
all of a
sudden his Shopify account had like $50,000 in it, and they froze his account because they were like, "What are you doing? Yeah. Like you've never sold anything before, and now all of a sudden you just sold $50,000 worth of merchandise." It's like, we got to look into this.
Damn.
And he was like almost gonna get in trouble because like.
And then he had to do the like write-in entry, didn't he?
Well, that's how it like he pioneered the whole thing of like the giveaways as we know it.
Did he get that money back? Do you know?
Oh yeah, he got all his money.
Okay,
but he did it in a way that nobody can ever do it like that again.
Yeah.
And now, if you're gonna make $50,000, you will have already had to have paid $15,000 to a giveaway sweepstakes company to legitimize everything.
And then you'll probably have to give another $15,000 in just straight cash for the taxes involved with getting that car registered to the giveaway owner if you don't want to dump that on them, on top of probably whatever $60,000 to $65,000 car you're giving away. So, I mean, you need to make $100,000 in a giveaway, you need to spend at least $100,000 in a giveaway.
Yeah, I definitely learned that through Orion trying to do like the serious giveaways. And then one that was like the most depressing was the very last one that I'm sure that they did was that RX-7, the FD.
FD.
You don't remember the FD giveaway?
Oh, it was so bad.
We had a twin turbo FD
in the shop in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah,
Tell me that story.
at the Takeover guys shop.
Yeah.
That's what their thing is.
Takeover Northwest.
Yeah, Takeover. Yeah.
I'm sure they changed that name by now.
They didn't want to sell that to us, and we somehow convinced them that we were going to make a shit ton of money. And
wasn't that thing a total shitbox?
It was not. It was a running and driving twin turbo FD that was sanded down to be painted.
That's why I remember.
All the door handles were off, all the lights and stuff were off. It was, and everything was in it.
Yeah.
And it had a body kit with it.
It was
an ugly body kit, but it had a body kit.
Is it right-hand drive or left-hand drive?
Left-hand drive.
Okay. Probably more valuable. I think the left-hand drive FDs are more expensive than the
It was. I drove it. It was like, I've never experienced like that much torque like in like a small car like that.
Cool car.
And I was like, damn. I was like out of a rotary too. I was like, I didn't think that that's like what these feel like. Yeah. If I could get one, I definitely would. But they're way out of my price range. But we started doing that giveaway, and I left. It got to the point where like I kept telling Ryan, I was like, we got to do stuff. We got to do stuff. We got to do stuff. And he was like, no. We got to wait. We got to.
What's the timeline? Is it Life OD at this point?
Yeah, this is like Life OD. We're doing all the. He's drifting in his Pro-Am competitions. I'm doing Haggard Racing Co. videos like to send to his sponsors and stuff. Because like we had Enki, so he was getting free Enkis and stuff. Right. Like he was just getting sets and sets of Enkis. And
that tool company, right?
Yeah, I can't remember that tool company. It's had like a goat head or something on it.
Yeah, right on something.
Something, yeah.
Some terrible tool company.
That got picked up by like Lowe's, and then like Lowe's doesn't even sell it. And
I remember it being blue.
Yep, just blue and black. Yeah, we had sponsors and stuff, and we had other little sponsors that would like send us little things
Capri.
to put. Yeah. Oh, Capri Tools. Yeah, that's what it was. Capri Tools. They were like decent tools, but like most tools nowadays are decent tools. Yeah, like they're all the same kind of quality now.
Okay, so when does the Pro-Am and you filming for Life OD kind of take a turn? Because you were a active member of that channel, and you were helping with all the viral content that was probably making a good lump of money.
Orion kind of like made the decision that he didn't really want to. Well, he made the decision that it was too expensive for him to afford to be able to go through Pro 2 and try and do FD.
But wasn't that the whole point of getting the Enki and the Capri sponsorship?
Mm-hmm. Was to pay for it all. But he was like he's paying money still, and that's most racing. You got to really hustle to be able to pay no money to race. Yeah, it's impossible. So he started to realize he's like, I'm throwing my money away at this now, and
this was before he got his license, or this?
Yeah, this was before he actually like won the third place and just gave it away to whoever else was below him, I think.
Oh, so he never even he never actually got his Pro 2 license, or did he?
No, I don't think he actually ever got it.
Oh wow, this whole time I thought he was still going to eventually compete. I thought.
Oh no, yeah, he did talk about doing that, or just like getting it and fucking somebody else out of that spot, but
yeah, that E36. That Panda that ugly Panda E36, wasn't he going to turn into?
That was after I was already gone, and this was like me and him stopped talking just because like after I was gone, it was just no money. So it was just there's no reason for me to talk to him, and
Yeah.
he just started doing a bunch of stuff.
Did that relationship end on bad terms? Do you have anything that you want to say?
I mean, I regret that it ended probably like how it ended, but I just wish that we were like actually friends instead of like, because like with how it is now, I would literally go and make videos with this kid still and not want money if it was like a friendship, you know what I mean? But it didn't, it felt like it used to be, and then it felt like it definitely wasn't for a while, and then that's just how it's been. And like nothing's changed. Yeah. And then he disappeared for a while. He went off and was like in the woods or whatever, or
cabin in the woods,
or went back home, or I don't know. I asked a couple people what he was doing, and nobody really had an answer for me. But it was just out of like curiosity of what you're up to, because like I literally lived with you for like 2 years.
From what I've gathered, he sold literally everything he owned, down to the last pair of shoes that he had, and moved back.
Not the Pumas.
The Pumas. Jesus, him and his fucking Pumas. But he moved in.
He had a good taste in his shoes.
His mom, and he didn't have anything for about 6 months, and put every dollar he had into Bitcoin, and then he pulled out at the right time and is now a multimillionaire based on Bitcoin, which is a pretty crazy turn of events. But I mean, he kind of built that with the money that may have should have been directed towards the people below him that kind of fed off of his scraps for a long time. And
if I was making more than just enough to pay my bills, I definitely would have also invested in Bitcoin, but he didn't really want to win together. He wanted to like win by himself.
And I think that kind of came out evident with
a lot of people. Everybody made their little video about it. I was the only person who didn't make like a clickbait kind of video where I'm like, this is Haggard, you know what I mean? Like, I never really cared.
Truth behind the story.
Yeah, because everybody asked me about it, and there was one time where I was just really drunk, and I was on like a Discord page with all the Haggard fans and stuff, and I was like, if anybody wants my hard drive, I'll sell it for the price of a JZX90. Or if you trade me a JZX90, I'll trade you every single thing I've ever filmed for Haggard. Hey, if you want to trade me,
you didn't do that?
No, nobody came through. There was a lot of people who messaged me.
I bet there was someone that wants to buy that.
There was people who offered me over $1,000 for it.
There might be one person that might have an extreme problem with that, though.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's your property, right?
I mean, I filmed it all. There's no contract. It's my footage. I shot it all. It's my property. So
there you go. Well, let's talk about your life post Haggard and what you've gotten into since then. Where did you? I mean, once you left the Pacific Northwest, because during the Haggard tour, you got a little K-van and you picked up a couple different cars while you were in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, I got a Corolla wagon, a little TE72, and I got the Suzuki Every that was turbo 5-speed with a body kit and stuff on it. It was super cool. I ended up taking those back to PA, and I was ready to not do any more stupid like YouTube like endeavors unless it was like with a real channel. Yeah. So I was just down to be sitting at home and doing my own thing. So I had the Corolla and I had the Suzuki. I ended up getting like a shop with a couple different friends. That was a pretty good situation for a couple months, but it ended up falling through just over some like stupid drama stuff that I wish didn't happen, because we'd still probably all be in that shop together. But from there, like, I just was working out of my driveway, doing the cars as a hobby. I got back into music videos pretty heavy. I got out of music videos for a little bit.
You're filming and editing and producing them?
Yeah.
For any artist in particular?
Yeah, not any artist in particular. I have like a client base like of people who pretty regularly hit me up. Cool. But I'm always open to work with anybody. And like lately it's been getting that I'm down to like go travel anywhere. Like if anybody wants to like cover travel costs on top of a cheap music video, you just fly me out to your city for a weekend, you know what I mean? And I'll be able to shoot something crazy for you.
There you go. Follow at Burkyfilms on Instagram. Hit his DMs. He responds to DMs like that. Getting him on the show was easy peasy, especially with him being only a couple miles away right now. But yeah, you have a great repertoire and a great resume for stuff that you filmed in the past. Tons of music videos. You worked with Little Skies in the past, right? And you have a video with Little Skies, and what are some of the bigger projects you did in the automotive space? I mean, I think you filmed for Jimmy Oaks and
I got to film like a little cool. So that was like a series that being directing all these videos, I always wanted to have series of my own for my own channels.
Yeah.
And that was like a build series that I wanted to get into, and that was the first episode. It was like my pilot episode.
Gotcha.
And it did so good that I was so surprised that like I never got any other cool cars to actually do.
Yeah. So what was it? Was it just like a little 10-minute cinematic video?
Yeah, so I wanted to do a series of videos where it was showing off somebody's car, but I also do like a stance edit with like cool music and stuff behind it throughout the whole video, so it could like show somebody real details about a car that maybe they wouldn't have seen if they just watch it drifting or if they see a picture of it on Instagram. Like, you can actually have the time to point out every single thing that you've done to your car.
And you got to do that with Jimmy and his black S13 coupe. And that was when it was, I mean, that was how long ago was that?
Oh, I mean, that was like 2017.
Yeah.
Whenever I did it, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, that's a fantastic video. You worked with Steven from Garage Sideways.
Yep, did a lot of cool little projects with Steven. The premiere video for his S15, whenever he had the S14 and we went drifting at the go-kart track, and
that was a crazy little spot that he had back then.
Quan has a big turbo GTO in that video that shoots flames like 3-4 feet into the air above the car.
I think it was automatic, wasn't it?
It was literally, they had a really good laugh at me because like I thought it was manual, and then he ended up like drifting too fast, and he slid off and just like brushed against trees. Like, he didn't crash, but he was just brushed up against some trees, and he had to just pull out. And before we thought it was all like broken, or like when he thought it was broken, I'm looking at the car and I'm looking on the inside, and the clutch pedal's all the way down to the floor. And I see the shifter's like one of those pistol grip, like with the handle thing shifters.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did you break something? Like, your clutch pedal's all the way down. And they both look at me and they just start laughing, and I'm like,
because it was an original 6-speed car
exactly,
that
yeah,
he converted to an automatic 3-speed power glide or something.
Yeah, some crazy, like,
because he had a big big single turbo 6.0.
Because I wasn't following, like, I knew their channel, but I wasn't following their channel.
Yeah.
I actually told Orion about Garage Sideways, like, whenever I was living there.
Yeah.
I remember being like, hey, dude, there's this guy I watched, he made a video, the top 5 things I hate about my S13.
Yeah, I remember.
And I was like, or my S14 or whatever. And I was like, you have to make a video like this.
Yep.
And I was like, this video is popular. Like, people are, like, it was on my recommended. I was like, people are watching this. I was like, this kid's going to be doing, I was like, you need to watch this. Yeah. So that's how I found, like, Garage Sideways. From just watching him. And I told Orion about it. Orion hits him up. And immediately Orion's like, I want to sponsor you. Like, yeah. Yeah. So he wanted to sponsor him for driving. And I guess he did for a little bit. He did Haggard Racing Co. I think they paid for him to go to a couple events and some tires or something like that, but it didn't turn into anything other than that.
Yeah.
And then me and Garage Sideways, whenever I started getting away from Haggard, Garage Sideways lived so close to me, I was just like, hey, Steven, like, you want to just hang out? Yeah. He's like, yeah, man. Like, so I started going down and we would just hang out for a day, and just whatever we'd film for the day, that would be the video. Because he's starting to just be like, he's just living life. He's really enjoying himself.
He moved into a big old place with a big old... like 5-acre piece of property. Did you see the fence that he just put up?
Yep, around his annoying neighbor that he doesn't like. He's literally kicking ass at life right now. He's like winning. Getting goats and cows and shit.
About to have a baby.
I'm so happy for them.
Melania and Steven.
Melina, I think.
Melina.
Yeah.
Melina, not Melania. Melina and Steven. I mean, shout out to you guys. I've been watching Garage Sideways for a minute. I had the original Garage Sideways banner on my first S13, the white one with the stars on the side.
Mm-hmm. I actually have one of the last OG banners like that rolled up in my sticker collection.
No way.
Yeah, that's still fresh.
Hell yeah. But yeah, you obviously have a very advanced resume. You've worked with a lot of people. And you're still working. You're working on music videos are your main focus and passion right now.
Yeah.
So do a little spiel if you have anything to promote. Are you working? You're in the Pacific Northwest right now, but where do you normally work out of, and how can people get in contact with you?
Well, I normally work out of Pennsylvania, anywhere in Pennsylvania. I live in Chambersburg, so I don't care about travel, so that's the thing. So if you're anywhere on the East Coast, pretty much, I'll shoot you a music video if you're interested in my style. I have a really good price compared to most other people that shoot good music videos, not people who shoot music videos. Yeah, I'm starting to get into like production editing though, so I hooked up with like a production company, and they just send me like buckets of footage to like edit like realtor videos, or like, and that's what I do for like a living now, is like my main, I have like a full-time job just editing now.
That's nice.
Just, it's like business people
remotely?
Talking. Yeah, well, I just do it at my house. Yeah, and then I just have to have good internet so I can download the footage.
Nice.
That's all I ever have to do. And so that's what I'm doing now. And music videos is starting to be like, I can actually focus good attention on it. Whenever I was doing music videos like as my main job, I was feeling really pressured, and I was like only shooting really quick music videos.
Yeah.
Like I would just show up, not really plan anything. We would just shoot like in the downtown somewhere, and then I would just go home and edit it and post it up. But now I'm like, I like thinking about good ideas, getting it all set up, directing it, like getting certain spaces, like controlling where everything's going to be.
I'm glad you found not a newfound passion, something you've always really loved to do, but I mean, you're getting into it more as a career now, kind of straying away from the automotive industry and kind of that scene, but you're still involved. You still have a couple cars that you're building up on the side that you eventually want to get ripping and roaring. What are you working on right now?
I have a 1991 Civic Wagavan. I got it as a D16 Z6 swapped turbo setup. It's just an eBay turbo, like a 60 trim. Like, I put a hood exit on it right whenever I got it. It had a full 3-inch back exhaust. Took it all off, cut a hole in the hood, which I regret, and then put the wastegate and the dump pipe going up. And it was pretty cool. Whenever I drove it, it was pretty cool, but I just don't like having holes in the hood now.
Yeah,
and
kind of a hassle.
Yeah, because I'm not going to go hood exit again, so now I'm like, oh crap, like, what am I going to do on this next build? But hopefully I can build that in like a little autocross car. I have a bunch of like stickers and stuff that I saved up for like a livery for it. So I have like a whole livery almost planned out for the car.
Nice.
I have a friend in New Jersey who wants to wrap the car for me. He has a wrap business that he does. He just wants me to buy the material I want so I can get the color I want, and
sweet.
He'll just do it all for free. I just have to get the car there.
That's exciting. We may get a build out of Burky soon.
Yeah, it'll be a pretty cool Wagavan.
So if you want to follow Burky and support what he's doing and are looking for a music video, definitely hit him up. His Instagram link is probably at the top of the description, and obviously it's been on the screen throughout the duration of this. I want to thank you again, Burky, for stopping by.
Yeah, absolutely. This was awesome. Also, go over and check out 666mart.com. I'm starting a clothing company over there. It's called No Friends Club. There's also a couple other local brands to my area that are on that website. Feel free to go check it out. If it's something you like, pick something up. If not, give it a little bit, and my No Friends Club stuff will be up, and you'll definitely like that. So, yeah, check me out on all my stuff. Hit me up. Thanks for having me, man. This was really cool.
For sure. Thanks for doing it. I definitely want to support you in any way that I can. So if you are looking for some apparel and want to support Burky, that link will also be in the description below. Thank you all for listening and watching. If you were watching on YouTube, make sure that you follow us on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, basically anywhere that you can listen to podcasts. Follow us there. And if you're listening, make sure that you're watching the visual and full video podcast on YouTube. You can find us on all social medias at Dlzonwlz, and check out the website to support some of the new products that we just dropped, Dlzonwlz.com. We'll be back next week with another episode, probably another Pacific Northwest drifter. But yeah, I enjoyed sitting down with Burky, and we'll see you on the next one. Later.
I close my eyes and I see dreams of gold.